Good morning all to what is a very long gapped video. I think the last time I reported into you guys was probably July, August of last year. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all well. Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, I thought we'd just check in, just do a quick update, hello, see how people are. I'll give you a little bit of a overview on some of the things that have taken place on the house in the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So grab yourself a nice beverage and let me bore you to death with some of the things that have been going on here. Okay, so let me start. Weather. What are we now? 7th of February. This is probably the best time to come to Barbados. December, January and February are just amazing. You're talking 25 to 29. In the morning, it's now 8:30. It's 27 degrees. It's indicated to go to 29-ish today. It started at 25 this morning. The shade, because of the sun being quite low in the mornings, are absolutely unbelievable. However, the travel costs and the prices on hotels, etc., obviously go through the roof at this time of year. And that happens up until about April time. So, unfortunately, you have to dig a little bit deeper if you're going to be doing it. What's happened on the house in that duration of time? Oh, one thing we have had. So one of our big units, which are 10 foot by 8 foot, so that one there just in the corner, the opener, just exploded. So obviously we've got to try and get one of those pieces of glass, which are nearly 300 kilos, onto the island from England. Cortizo is the brand that we put in. They are a European English make. And funny enough, I was actually in the midst of getting a quote from the person I normally use, but there's actually someone on the island that I was recommended to via the insurers that does Cortizo. How weird is that? If I'd known that, it would have saved me so much time and so much grief. I could have passed on the problems with the windows to someone else. So there's a guy called John. He's very busy at the moment. I'm struggling to get him to come out to physically measure up and get me a price, but hopefully next week, Monday, Tuesday, they'll come out. They'll confirm the measurements I've sent to them. They'll order the glass from England. They'll get it sent in. It's an absolute expense. So to give an example, the pane of glass itself is about £1,900. You've got to put it into a box, which is about £2,000. It'll cost you around about $1,000 to $1,500 to send it. And then when it lands here, they want to charge you VAT at 17.5% and duty on glass, which I think is 15%. So by the time it's actually delivered here, you're probably talking £6,000-7,000 just in glass. Then you've got to get it fitted. So yeah, 10 o'clock at night, it just suddenly exploded. It sounded like a gunshot. So, but obviously sometimes you get imperfections in glass. Sometimes the fitters put it a little bit too close to something and it touches, and over time, obviously you just get that slight knock. If it's under pressure and get that slight knock, it just explodes. So no idea why, but the CCTV showed nothing. No attempted break-in, nothing being shot at it, shoved at it, thrown at it, whatever. So yeah, what a bloody pain in the backside. So it just goes to show that any of them could go at any time. But then again, saying that, so could anyone else's. I mean, they are under extreme heat during the day, like I say, but this was 10 o'clock at night. So it had a good sort of 4 hours in Barbados, 6:15. The sun's going down and it's pretty much dark at this time of year. So I had a good 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours of cooling down. Umbrellas, one of them completely disintegrated. These umbrellas, by the way, absolutely brilliant. I think they're 380 on Price Mart. They're treble umbrellas. So yeah, a treble umbrella of 380 beige, I mean, what's that? It probably works out around about £150, you know, $180, whatever it is. Yeah, crazy. It's just, to get that sort of size on the island is very rare. So when they come in stock, you need to grab them, and they're in Price Mart at the moment. So one did give up the ghost, unfortunately. So we've got about year and a half out of it, but the rust literally disintegrated the bottom. And then for some reason, the pulley just stopped working. So the rust is one thing, but so yeah, if you do buy these things, you know, the first thing to do is when you get them out the box is spray them ideally with a lacquer. That obviously prevents them, or tries to prevent them from rusting, or put at least oil, baby oil, that sort of stuff on it. We do things like on the shower here, baby oil. You know, we had to replace the head here. The stainless steel one didn't last 5 minutes. There's now a plastic one there. That is doing 10 times better, and it was about £12 in England versus the 80 to 100 that one that was on there. So the shower arm is lasting okay. the mixer is lasting okay. You have to keep on top of them. We use that baby oil gel, so we put it on there and give it a slight wipe over, and that seems to defend it pretty well. Again, the white chairs over there, these are quite expensive normally. Price Mart got them in at the moment at $399, so they're pretty good. Look at me advocating. This channel is not sponsored by Price Mart. Showing at the moment is going around these walls, doing all the guard walls because they've gone a real awful colour. So we've got some more paint in and we're giving that a quick freshen up. Here, paint just doesn't last, doesn't matter what you do, guys. So if you're going to go down the route of building a house and you're going to paint it, make sure that it's a white. If you go with any other colour, then it just fades over time. I'll show you the guard wall at the moment. Since the last time I checked in with you when it looked amazing, it looked like this. I'll show you a picture at the moment as to what it's looked like. So just in this sun, it kills it. And on top of that, because you put waterproof in the cement, when you obviously the render the wall, that waterproof starts coming through over time. The downside with obviously once you painted, what you're not meant to do is just paint straight over it. You're meant to sand it down, you're meant to put a primer on it. So it's a ball ache to do it properly, that's for sure. Pool, it's been good. However, I did have a little bit of an issue with the pool guys not coming in and not doing it often, and as a result that we started getting some marks in there, these little black dots. We were told to buy this powdered chlorine, which I hate chlorine. Bear in mind this is a salt pool, I don't know if you guys remember. And I put this stuff in and I put too much in. He did say, look, you know, sprinkle it around where the dark patches are, knock the heads off, sweep it away and it'll be fine. And I got a bit carried away and put too much in. So we've now found out the black marks we get in the pool, the big marks, are like a chlorine burn. So anybody using a coloured plaster in their pools, chlorine burns it and creates this big black patch. Now it's gone down a bit more, but it's there now. So the only thing you can do is empty it and replaster it. So another expensive mistake. What else? We had air conditioning put in the cottage for people to stay in, which I'll show you in a minute. We have had on our outside sofas, the outside sofas have been brilliant. Bear in mind they're out all the time. They've been absolutely brilliant, but the puff, as they call it, the puff itself, unfortunately, is rusted on the bottom of the actual cushion. So it looks like they use some form of spring. They're obviously going to use some form of spring, but it's not happening on these. They've used a spring top on it, and that spring underneath the base is rusted up into the cushion, which is very strange. So we're not getting on these ones. So is it something that's going to happen, or did they use a different type of technology? Did they use a different process on the sofas? Not too sure. Barbecue's holding up okay. We have to rebuild the whole thing because we did it in plastic, giving it a go, but should have done it in moisturiser and MDF. Bear in mind it's under the shelter. On that note, guys, you can't have, I don't think there's many things apart from concrete board that you can actually have outside without you covering it. So if you did it in plastic or you did it in MDF, really, if it's going to be outside, you've got to tile it. You've got to put some form of protection on it. So that's one thing I would definitely recommend. The grass is looking better. I mean, it certainly looks better than the last time I showed you guys, that's for sure. But we've still got a few bald patches. The gardener seems to be a bit reluctant to come and put in the turf sheets that I asked them to fill in the patches. In an ideal world, it needs a damn good rake. It needs all of the weeds sprayed and taken out, and then it needs a couple of extra patches put in there. But some of it, I mean, apart from, let me show you, let me spin you around. Okay, a little bit of a delay there. So these bits here are quite flat and quite thin, but some of the grass itself, I mean, like here, for instance, that's not too bad. The grass itself is very springy. I mean, look how deep my feet go. Where it's actually laid properly, it's unbelievable. I mean, look, so deep. So it's lovely. Some of the grass that's actually been put in properly and is grown properly is great. However, then you get a patch like this. It's like you're on a beach. And then also where the rains come down and rain quite hard on the garden over the time, you just got stones everywhere. So all the stones need to be removed because unfortunately here they don't like lawnmowers, they always use strimmers. And when you're strimming and you're hitting stones and you've got windows like that and doors like that right next to it, it does make me nervous. On the guard wall, as you can see that I was talking about, look at the actual bleaching that's going on the walls. It just looks awful. But again, on this wall here, we're going to have to sand that, get a construction primer on it, and probably put in some form of damp primer on it as well. And it's probably stemming from some of this as well. You can see, look, the top part is actually cracking and moving. So that's probably getting moisture behind the wall, behind the plaster, sorry, and it's probably reacting with the waterproof that's on the wall itself or in the cement. So either way, it's got to be sorted out. So, but that's going to be quite a big job, but it does get a beating from the sun. You look at that bit there, look. But we've got some great new plants in. We've got the elephant ears. They seem to be growing okay in that corner. That corner seems to be quite a struggle, and I think it's mainly because that's where the well is. So you've got the gas, you've got the leachate of the of obviously the sewage. This one's starting to grow now, which is great, as is his brother. Then we've got some other plants that have been given to us by our neighbour next door. Bless him. Always gives us some great plants. That one there's come out beautiful. That's got yellows and pinks and all sorts in it. I'm sure that's going to be awesome. It looks like it's some of these sort of things. We've temporarily put the condenser out here for now, and it's up on the wall there. However, that's just a temporary measure to get our friends in and cool cable. What we are doing down here, sorry about the wind, is everything's been put underneath these steps here, as you can see. So what we're going to be doing is having 2 condensers mounted underneath there, and then we'll come along, punch them into the basement, and all of the actual facilities, etc., will be under the basement. That's the plan for that. Downside, in the meantime, look at Mr. Conduit, which you know I hate. So that one there was a temporary measure to put a 240 in the kitchen for coffee machines, etc. That was a temporary fix. That's got to be taken out and rerun properly and filled back in. And this is there for the air conditioning in the kitchen at the moment, and I'm at a real catch-22. Do I leave that where it is? Because at the moment we thought we would need a couple of units in there, and as much as it's not as hot at the moment, that 36,000 unit in that unit has been brilliant. So we may be able to get away with keeping that, but that means I need to keep that horrible, ugly thing coming down the wall. The whole point, as you all know, is that we've actually had the air conditioning unit spec'd to be downstairs in the basement and fed from the floor. And we've got the same in here as well. So we were going to have a 36,000 unit underneath in the basement in the cottage, and that was going to feed the floors that would feed the whole building. So let me know in the comments below, do you think I should go for a 36,000 under the actual cottage basement that feeds the floors, and remove all of this ugly stuff here and whatever else? Still have the condenser outside obviously, but that would be out that wall underneath the steps. Or do I leave what's there, bear in mind it's already done, and just reroute the actual condenser into this wall here, go through the basement and then out the other side? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Aggro versus look and feel, I suppose. There's always a sacrifice in life. That's a sacrifice. It's already done. Less aggro, but white machine on the wall, condenser out the side, big conduit down the wall. Doing it properly. No pipe coming down the wall, no air conditioning unit on the wall, but with loads of work and loads of aggro. So do it right versus not doing it right. What do I do? Let me know. What else? These doors have been a pain in the ass. This one keeps on dropping. I think it needs towing healing better. At the moment, if you can look at the top here, you can see more of the blind in this corner than you can this corner. So that does mean that we've jacked up the door maybe a bit too high. But in the meantime, one thing I did do is I undid the 3 hinges and I jacked the door up because it was basically binding on the floor, on the door frame. So I've jacked the door up, and I used a normal car jack, by the way. So opened the door, got a jack underneath it, lifted the door, undid the 3 hinges obviously, took a bit of weight off of it, then jacked it up and put them in place, and it seems to be okay at the moment. However, it is sort of catching a little bit, so that needs to be adjusted. My wife is growing loads of plants, which is a bit different. As you can see, all of these here, all of these here. She's got some more plants all along here. She's now got a little wooden garden over there, look. So that's quite nice. Other than that, it's pretty much as is. Pretty much as is. The one thing I will tell you about, again, the guard wall issues, cracks. This is where they actually went up another couple of blocks on here, and obviously what's happened over time, water's getting through, finding that crack, and it's just creating an issue, and we've had it all the way along. So really we need to scrape that out, fill that again, get out that wind. Yeah, so as you can see, even after he's done it, he started doing it here as well, look. So I mean, again, you're not going to stem it, It's just going to keep on. Look around the back. So, and obviously, common sense says that most people wouldn't look at the back. So, even if the back is open and you sort the front, then moisture's still going to get in. So, both sides need to be looked at to make sure that problem stops. So, yeah, we've got that sort of problem appearing around the whole building. You know, because obviously things settle, and you know, so it's to be expected, but still a pain in the backside. Update on the solar. Okay, so this is a big subject, and I'll probably do a separate video on this. I went to a local contractor called Green Tech Solutions. Green Tech Solutions, unfortunately, have not panned out to be as genuine as I thought they were going to be. So everyone hears the horror stories on the island about contractors, but all the time you're in control with the money, etc., it's never an issue. I went to the bank, I applied for a solar loan. That solar loan was eventually processed, although it very, very slow. But unfortunately, the bank have decided to send most of the money to him direct rather than giving to me to disperse at my own will, which is, I didn't think would be a major problem until I found out that he has money problems, and now he's gone quiet, and now I have another issue to contend with. So I even emailed the bank, I emailed him saying I have the money, I disperse when I want. That got ignored, that didn't happen, and as a result of that, now I have an unreliable contractor who doesn't seem to have any money, with lots of my money now going silent on me. So I think I'm going to do a separate video on the actual solar side of it. But in the meantime, if anybody, and I mean anybody, on the island gets contacted by a company called Green Tech Solutions, Miguel Humphreys, currently do not touch at this present time. Until he actually gets stabilised and informs me what's going on, I wouldn't suggest that anybody contacts him at the present time, otherwise you're going to be in the same situation I'm in. I hope genuinely that he gets back on his feet and he does the right thing and everything gets back on track. But at this present time, I'm not getting any communication, and there's a large amount of my money sitting in the wrong place, and that's not a healthy thing to have. Other than that, everything is all good. We are doing the basement downstairs. I think I'll do a separate video on that as well. We're going to be putting, well, I don't know if you remember, but the downstairs basement here, we put the BRC in, we put the DPM, the damp membrane down. We had all the smocks done, and then we needed to get in and out. We were doing the garage, so we landed up using the BRC downstairs and the garage floor, and we never got around to pouring it. When we had an issue with the garage roof, the contractor did the garage roof and the garage floor. He was meant to do those at the same time as the basement downstairs, and that never happened. So another saga, which I'm sure you can see back, I mean, probably about 400 odd video, 410, 420, something like that. So as a result of that, we've now got to painstakingly find someone else that's going to come in, redo the BRC, redo the smocks, redo the damp membrane, get a contractor in that's probably going to drive down behind this wall here with a lorry, and pump over in to try and save the mess in the space. Bear in mind that we're nearly finished. So we'll probably have to do the floor first, but in order to do the floor, we've got to run all the conduits through for the electrics, the plumbing, just in case we do ever turn that into an apartment. And as a result of that, you know, then we can pour the floor. Once the floor's done and it's all good, then we can come in and get all the walls plastered. I'd normally do the walls first, and I still may do, but here they seem to do the floors first and they do the actual walls after. But yeah, personally, I don't know, I think it's a matter of muchness really, but I'd much rather do the walls first and then the floor last. But the pour sprays everywhere. So if you get all the walls done and they come in, they spray, obviously the pump is pumping on the floor, it just splashes everywhere, then that's probably the reason why they do the actual walls second. But yeah, in our world, obviously, we would, after the walls are done, we would tape them all up, you know, box them up, you know, with cardboard or whatever it's going to be. We would then pull the floor, rip off, job done. But anyway, so I'll find out what order they would do it in. But I'll do a separate video on that. I'll film obviously what's downstairs, and certainly when we start the process, if we start the process, I'll document obviously us doing it and show you how it's done. In the meantime, that's it. I've been gassing. Probably, you know, one thing I've experienced in this channel is that, you know, I've found there's so many people that watch this channel, but no one comments. There's so many people that watch this channel that don't subscribe. So from my point of view, don't get me wrong, you don't have to, but even I do it. I watch YouTube quite often. I watch a video, I like it, I move on. Sometimes I forget to subscribe. So just do me a favour to try and get the message out of what to do and what not to do on this, in a build full stop, but also doing that in Barbados. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and comment as often as you can. greatly received the comments, that's for sure. I saw 2 people yesterday, both of them, oh yeah, we've been watching your channel loads. It's like, you've never commented, you're not subscribing. So yeah, if you could do that for me, that'd be great. If anything, it's just to try and get the message out to people that are attempting to build here, and just make sure that they can learn from some of the things that I've been through, good and bad. You know, I wouldn't do that. Certainly don't want to fall into that one. So if it helps people, then that's what this channel's all about. In the meantime, I'll stop gassing. Welcome again, Happy New Year. Bear in mind we're on the 7th of February. Welcome, Happy New Year, and I will check in with you at some stage in the next couple of weeks. Take care.